Cartman's drama triangle. Who here knows what drama is? Who here lives a life that looks like the Real Housewives of whatever town you live in? Not anymore. I don't do that anymore. And honestly, learning about Cartman's drama triangle is how I got out of living in that perpetual drama. Now, that doesn't mean that drama doesn't still happen. In fact, it's going on in my family right now. But I have the tools and I know the opportunities to make better choices so that I don't have to continue to live inside of that drama or carry that drama around the way that I used to when I was more interested in masking and people pleasing than I was in having healthy relationships. So Dr. Stephen Cartman, again, this is one of those studies, this is one of those theories, this is one of those systems that has been around since the 60s, 70s. It's gotten a lot of attention and a lot of work over these last 50 so years, and it's still being used today because, hello, it works. Now, this is going to be another brain buster, so if you need to take a break, do it now. Again, drink more water. Go take a break because your brain can't actually process too much information at once. Sitting here and binging it for the next 2 hours is not going to give you as great of a result learning from me as it would be for you to watch these in the 20-minute or less increments that I have them set up in. So if you need to take a break, go ahead and step away for a little while, set a timer to come back, or just be intentional about coming back tomorrow. So Dr. Stephen Cartman, again, this is one of those studies, this is one of those theories, this is one of those systems that has been around since the 60s, 70s. It's gotten a lot of attention and a lot of work over these last 50 so years, and it's still being used today because, hello, it works. Now, this is going to be another brain buster, so if you need to take a break, do it now. Again, drink more water. Go take a break because your brain can't actually process too much information at once. Sitting here and binging it for the next 2 hours is not going to give you as great of a result learning from me as it would be for you to watch these in the 20-minute or less increments that I have them set up in. So if you need to take a break, go ahead and step away for a little while, set a timer to come back, or just be intentional about coming back tomorrow. So our hero, our rescuer, and our martyr, they put themselves in that hero mentality. That's why we call it that, right? They say things either to themselves or out loud like, I have to take care of you, or I have it under control. They take a caretaker position and they typically meddle, they overstep, they have a savior complex, they're a know-it-all. They make themselves to feel superior based on how much they're doing for other people, whether or not the other people have asked for that to happen. They feel important and react from guilt. So guilt makes them feel important, and their actions and reactions are typically defined by either making someone else feel guilty or feeling guilty themselves. They say things like, I was just trying to help, when healthy boundaries are put in place. The last point is our victim, okay? Our victim avoids accountability. They appear, not that they are, but they appear emotionally helpless. They act powerless. They may play dumb. They act from self-pity. Woe is me. I can't help it. The whole world's against me. You always blame me. It's always someone else's fault. They feel unworthy. They feel small. And they use vulnerability and learned helplessness to avoid taking responsibility. Okay? They use vulnerability and learned helplessness to avoid taking responsibility. So, like I said, these are roles that we all play. So let's talk about what that looks like in a real life. So every one of us fits into these roles multiple times every hour in our own minds. Okay? Hundreds of times each day. Every one of these roles is happening to all the other people that we're doing life with, right? So everyone we interact with is potentially in their bully, in their martyr, or in their victim at any given time. Think about it as if this triangle just keeps like flipping around, right? So our triangle's flipping like this, and then somebody else's triangle's flipping like this. What's going to happen? They're going to crash into each other, and that's when drama happens. So it's not that being in any one of these roles is necessarily specifically bad, right? You don't want to go to the person who meddles in your family and say, oh, you're just being a martyr, because then you're being the bully or the persecutor, calling them the martyr. And it makes them feel like a victim, and then they get defensive, and then, they may act out, and anyway. So instead, we have to be aware that not only is this drama happening in our own lives, but it's happening in the lives of other people. And the way to get out of the drama or keep that cycle from happening is, one, understanding, being aware that it exists in the first place. The second thing is understanding that the other people are doing life and in one of those three zones on a regular basis, okay? The third thing is the tools that I'm going to give you on the next slide for how to get out of each specific ego state or each specific role based on where you are in your situation. And fourth, and most importantly, the drama continues, not the drama occurs. Drama is going to occur because we're all living through this stuff, and it's impossible not to have a car accident every once in a while, right, in our lifetime. The drama is going to occur. The drama continues when we forget that we've been stuck in one or another one of these situations, these roles, for too long, right? Not that, oh, I felt like a victim for a second, but then when we allow ourselves to participate in perpetuating, right? When we allow it to continue, when we don't take our power back and say, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to live like the victim. I don't want to be the bully. I don't want to be the hero. Or I don't have to be the hero. I don't have to be the persecutor. I don't have to be the victim. All right, so let's jump into how to get out of these roles. It may seem like the creator, the challenger, and the coach go together the same way and in the opposite way that the persecutor, the rescuer, and the victim all go together. See, it takes a judge or a persecutor to make that victim feel bad, to pull that person into rescuer mode where they try and fix the situation for them or tell the persecutor off so that they calm down, which makes them feel like a victim. It is a whole huge cycle, and I would love for you to watch some videos on Google about it. Definitely check it out. But the reason that those things are so similar, just like the creator, challenger, and coach are so similar, the way that those are passion-based and long-term based, is because the persecutor, the rescuer, and the victim are anxiety-based. They're based on stress, whether you're under stress or you're adding stress to the situation. They are problem-focused, not solution-focused. And they're looking for a short-term reward. What's going to make me feel powerful, strong, accepted, loved in this moment? What's going to make me feel in this moment? Not what's going to give me skills for now and later. So anytime you feel yourself getting pulled into that victim, that hero, or that persecutor complex, those states, those roles, know that you can get out of any one of those roles through any of the three other options. Just because you're in persecutor role doesn't mean you have to go to challenger. You can go to coach, you can go to creator, and you can zip right out of the drama. Because challenger, creator, and coach, to add to Cartman's drama triangle, to transactional analysis, are typically all done from the nurturing parent ego state. What? I just combined two completely separate theories. This is why psychology-based communication is its own thing, because it's layering the pieces from all of them so that you can see how all of them work in one big picture. So we're not going to play dumb here. We're not going to be whiny. We're not going to beg. We're not going to do any of the stuff that would make us feel or look weak. That actually puts us back in the victim role. Instead, we're just going to switch from being aggressive to being assertive. Assertive is just saying the same thing, but with a different intention. Hey, I still need you to wash the car, but I'm not going to be a jerk when I ask for it. The same thing goes when we're trying to get out of our drama. So one of the major shifts that we're going to make here is in mindset, in taking your power back, in giving yourself permission to start making better choices, and also realizing that the choice is yours and you are the only one that can be held accountable for it. If you're blaming other people for the actions or reactions in your life, then you're playing the victim. You're persecuting that other person and putting yourself in the victim role, causing them to need to feel like they either have to get defensive and persecute you or bully you back, or that they then have to become the rescuer and somehow save you. We don't need to do that. Instead, we're going to switch each one of those points into something positive. So instead of being aggressive and taking a fighting stance, we're going to take I'm no longer fighting in this relationship. Instead, I'm fighting for this relationship stance. Okay? So instead of being the persecutor or the bullier, we're going to challenge. Hey, I hear you saying that you don't want to clean up your stuff. I hear you saying that you don't want to eat what I made for dinner. And you can be upset about that. It's not unrealistic for you to be frustrated or mad. However, nothing you do, no choice that you make right now will change the fact that you still have to clean up after yourself, or that you still have to eat what I cooked for dinner. You're still not going to be able to have waffles or pizza rolls, and I'm not going to make you another meal. You're going to have lasagna. So you can throw a fit about it all you want right now, but I'm going to challenge you to make a better choice and not waste all our time and just sit with us and enjoy dinner. For our rescuer role, we're going to become a coach. So instead of giving the answers, just like we talked about in the adaptive child, free child, when we talked about all the stuff in transactional analysis, we talked about open communication and active listening. It's not about having the right answers or giving the right answers. It's about helping them find those answers themselves. So instead of rescuing them and saying, oh, you're late for work because you didn't set your alarm, I'll drive you to work. Instead, say, hey, what are your options? What are the best ways for you to get to work on time? Or what do you think you should do now that you realize you're going to be late? And let them answer the question. Don't just say, hey, you should really call your boss and let them know that we're on our way. It's going to be okay. We're on our way. Instead, you ask an open-ended question with your active listening skills, building trust and building their trust in themselves by coaching them through the answer. As parents, you already know all the answers. You don't ask questions you don't know answers to. But we're not here to pump our egos. We're here to raise successful, thriving adults. And the only way that happens is if we give them the opportunity to learn how to critically think and make those choices on their own. So instead of giving them the answer, we're going to challenge them and coach them into finding the answers on their own. That may be as simple in the beginning as giving them two choices. Something like, hey, I see you're running late. Do you want to call a friend or do you want to take the bus? Or, hey, I see that you're running late for work. What are some things you can do tomorrow to make sure that you're on time? And then for our victim role, instead of feeling like the world is against us and our kids hate us and we can't do anything right, we're going to say, I am a human being who is learning, changing, and growing. And while that's hard, I do hard things all day long, every day. And I know that I deserve to reach my potential just as much as my teenager deserves to reach their potential. So instead of playing the victim, instead of being, the ultimate, instead, we're going to be a creator of opportunities. Hey, I really didn't like the way that you talked to me just now. That made me feel really uncomfortable, or like you don't respect me, or whatever. I'm going to create a couple opportunities for you to make better choices. Next time you feel this way, you can either say this or you can say that. You can communicate this way or you can communicate that way. You're creating choices. And it might sound a lot like a coach because all three of these roles, the challenger, the coach, and the creator, are based on passion. Hey, I love you enough to correct you. I care about you enough to want you to be capable of doing more, right? They are outcome focused, not ego focused. It's not about you feeling good in this moment. It's about the long-term rewards. Parenting is a long game, y'all. It is a marathon. And it takes a lot of training to be able to run that race well. That's why you're here. So just know that it's okay that you're still in training and you still have plenty of time to make positive changes in your life and in the lives of your teenagers, no matter how old they are. So I'm in persecutor mode. I'm in rescuer mode. I'm in victim mode. How do I get out of that? Well, there's 3 easy steps. The first step is awareness, right? So starting now, and here's one of those skills that you can take right now to go use immediately, is awareness. Just start being intentional, doing it on purpose, about paying attention to what pulls you into those different roles, what triggers you, what happens when you trigger someone else, what their triggers are. Pay attention to the way that you speak, what you say, and how others respond. If they don't respond the way that you want them to the first time, there's a good chance it's because you're not communicating from a nurturing parent place. You're not communicating from the challenger, the coach, or the creator. Instead, you're pulling them into the drama triangle by either being the persecutor, the victim, or the hero. Okay? And if you have to repeat yourself, it's not working. If you have to repeat yourself, it's not working. So try something new. And that's where shift 2 comes in. You're going to try it, and if it doesn't work, you're going to adapt. Shift 2 is adapting. Your teen is a product of a whole lot of information, right? And a lot more influence than just yours. If it was just your influence, it would probably be because you're raising your kids in a cave, and based on the fact that you're watching me on the internet, I would have to believe that your kids have more influence than just you and your spouse and potentially their siblings, right? So that means that they're being influenced by multiple different pieces of information, which they're still processing and trying to understand how it fits into their life, how they fit into the world, and what they're going to do with all this information for good, bad, or otherwise. So that means that you're likely going to need to adapt or compromise some of the choices that you make to figure out what fits for each of your individual teens or your spouse or the other people in your family. Don't worry, they're going to be doing this for you too once you model that behavior, once they see how it works and their subconscious connects with the comfort, the dopamine, the serotonin rushes that they get from this new communication style. So your teen is a product of a lot more than just you. And that means that you're going to have to adapt. You're going to try something that you see in your awareness. And if it doesn't work, you're going to try something else. And you're going to try something else and try something else until you figure out what works. And then you're going to realize that just because it worked one time doesn't mean it's going to work every time. And that there's there's a lot of different ways that you're going to have to handle some of this. And that's why you have the nurturing parent ego state as well as coach, challenger, and creator. And then the third shift that's going to happen, whether you like it or not, is advancement. The third shift that's going to happen, whether you like it or not, is advancement. And that means while our humanity shows up in a lot of different ways and our personalities and all of that asks us to focus on the here and now, parenting is about preparing our teens to go out and be better adults than they are teenagers, right? On every level. And as you grow and model this behavior, your teens, your spouse, your other kids, they are going to follow suit. Maybe not right away, and maybe not super organically. It's going to take a lot of effort. But once it starts to click, you'll see massive changes happen really quickly. It's like chug, chug, chug. Woo! Here we go. It's going. It's working great. And you're all going to have new skills and new ways to adapt and to thrive in your home.